So good day to everyone. We are the group 5. We will be discussing to you about within subject designs. In our previous lesson, we have already tackled the four main types of designs, which is the two independent variable, two match group, multiple groups, and factorial design. So in our report, we will be discussing to you the framework of within subject design. So before we go to the framework, we need first to know what is within subject design. So within subject design are type of design in which all participants are exposed to every treatment or conditions. The term treatment is used to describe the different levels of the independent variable, the variable that is controlled by the experimenter. In other words, all of the subjects that are treated with the critical variable in question. So how would you understand that? So I will be showing to you an illustration here. As you can see here in the given illustration, the within subject design, the same participant or the person in the left side, the participant, tests all of the following condition corresponding to a variable, in which the participant are exposed to every treatment or condition, which is the site 1 and the site 2. If we are going to compare it to the between subject design, as you can see here, they have provided two different participants, which is the person A and the person B, which are assigned to different condition corresponding to a variable. So within subject design undergoes all that variable, which is the site 1 and the site 2. So going back, to give you an example on how we can apply within subject design on a research, an experiment conducted by Jones, Collins, and Hong in an audience effect in smile production on 10-month-old infant. In this experiment, the researchers wants to investigate how early people learn smiling as a form of communicative function. Jones and her colleagues have been investigating communication smile in infant. The experiment recited where the mother attending the infant shows stimulus responses on how the infant smile towards the mother. So the experimental setting where they conducted this experiment was a closed room. Inside the room was the baby and the mother. Each mother spent a minute describing and demonstrating several toys affixed to a pegboard stand, then left the baby next to the toys and sat down in the chair. Two 6-minute segments followed. In one, the mother paid attention to the baby playing, and in the other, she read a magazine. Using the two cameras inside the room, the baby was videotaped and smiles were later scored and recorded by judges who viewed the tape. For this kind of research, it is much better to use within subjects design, a design in which each subject serves in more than one condition of the experiment. By having the same subject in both attention conditions, Jones and her colleagues improved their chances of detecting differences between the attention and non-attention conditions. From a statistical viewpoint, we refer to this as an increasing the power of the experiment. Increased power means a greater chance of detecting a genuine effect of the independent variable. In a within subject design, subjects serve in more than one condition of the experiment and are measured on the dependent variable after each treatment.
Good day everyone, I am Sheraldine Zingapan and I'm going to tackle about the within subject factorial design. So a within subject factorial design is where all of independent variables are manipulated within subjects. Since factorial design have more than independent variable, it is also possible to manipulate one independent variables within subject. Each level of one independent variable is combined with each level of others to produce all possible combinations. A factorial design is an experiment being done with more than one independent variable. So there are different kinds of factorial designs, but I'm only going to discuss three kinds of it, which are the 2 by 2 factorial design, 2 by 3 factorial design, and 4 by 2 factorial design. So let's now proceed to the examples of factorial design. So the first one is a 2 by 2 factorial design. So a 2 by 2 factorial design consists of two independent variables and two combination, or in other words, it is called condition. So assume that I'm a researcher and I would like to search about the effect of cell phone use and time of day in driving ability. The four cells of the table represent the four possible combinations or conditions: using a cell phone during the day, not using a cell phone during the day, using a cell phone at night, and not using a cell phone at night. This particular design is referred to as 2 by 2 factorial design because it combines two variables, each of which has two levels. So let's now proceed to the next factorial design, which is the 2 by 3 factorial design. In 2 by 3 factorial design, we have two independent variable and three conditions or combinations. So for example, suppose that I'm already a registered psychologist and I would like to know whether the age of a person could affect on how quickly a person could learn a phone-based application. But I find it boring, so I would like to add one more independent variable, which is the noise, because I think that noise could also affect on how quickly a person could learn the phone-based application. So if you will look at the table, you can see that there are two levels or possible outcomes for the factor of noise and three levels for the factors of age. This is called a 2 by 3 factorial design. There are endless possibilities for factorial designs based on the levels of the factor. So lastly, let's now proceed to the 4 by 2 factorial design. 4 by 2 factorial design have four independent variables and two conditions or combinations. So for example, I'm a researcher and I would like to know how long it takes to identify different kinds of facial expressions. Perhaps those facial expressions are anger, fear, happiness, and sadness. And I also would like to know if the gender have something to do with it. The research or experiment would be a 4 by 2 within subject's factorial design. Each subject would take part in all 8 conditions. Subjects would see and identify 8 different faces, a man and a woman displaying each of the 4 expressions. So notice that the number of possible condition is the product of the number of levels. So for example, in 2 by 2 factorial design, we have 4 levels. In 2 by 3 factorial design, we have 6 levels. And in 4 by 2 factorial design, we have 8 levels. So that's all of my report. Thank you for listening. Have a good day and God bless.
Sometimes we have factorial designs in which one or more predictors has been manipulated using different participants, and one or more predictors has been manipulated using the same participants. For example, a group of subjects with depression may have their sadness measured before they receive some medications, and then again after 3 weeks taking the medication, the independent variable is time, and then the dependent variable is sadness. Balancing. Special control procedure. Different subjects would see the 8 phases in different orders to prevent confounding. When we say confounding, it is necessary to use counterbalancing techniques to avoid confounds. And then the participant sample is divided in half, which with one half completing the two conditions in one order, and then the other half completing the conditions in the reverse order. Memories in children. When we say creating false memories in children that never happened can be research subject. The subject in this research is the children and then the adult. And who invented this creating false memories? These are Strange, Hain, and then Gary. They invented creating false memories in children so that they used this experiment to investigate the impact of photos on children memories that had actually happened, which is true memories. And then the procedure on this experiment, each interview of children and then the adults, they have 3 sessions. 10-year-old children, then pinapakita nila dito yung 4 photographs. Ito yung 4 photographs. Ito yung the within subjects, which is 3 real photos provided by their parents and 1 false photos. On the hot air balloon photos, which is the between subjects. Then, the between subjects, photo showed an unknown group of people in a hot air balloon baskets, and then the other is the photo had been doctored using the Adobe Photoshop. But in reality, none of the children had actually been in a hot air balloon.
Good morning everyone, I am Rika Medalla and I will be discussing about the advantages and disadvantages of using the within subject design. So what is the within subject design? It is a type of an experimental design in which participants are exposed to every treatment condition. We use the term treatment to describe the different levels of independent variable. An independent variable are the variables that are being controlled by the experimenter. For example, we have 4 treatment conditions, and we want 15 subjects in each condition. In within subject design, we can use the same subjects in each condition, instead of looking for 15 different subjects to try all the presented conditions. Another example is you are doing an experiment on exercise and memory. For your independent variable, you decided to try 2 different types of exercise, which are jogging and yoga. So instead of breaking the participants into 2 groups, you ask all the participants to try jogging before taking the memory test. After the first test, you will have to repeat the procedures again, but this time, the participants will have to try yoga before taking the memory test. After gathering the data, you will have to compare the test scores to determine which type of exercise had the greatest effect on performance in the memory test. So, ano yung mga advantage and disadvantage sa paggamit ng within subject design? So, yung unang advantage niya is it doesn't require you to have a large number of participants. Aside from that, it also reduces errors that are associated with the individual differences. So, the within subject design is an helpful experimental design, but there are some disadvantages. So, yung una, for example, since we only have a certain number of participants that will try all of our treatment condition, their behavior or performance can be affected. This problem is known as the order effect. So another example is we have the participants take part in yoga. So participating in yoga might affect their later performance in jogging, and it may even affect their performance in the memory test. So, yung another advantage niya is yung participants ay pwedeng mapagod, mabored, or even became uninterested in taking part of the multiple treatments. Since same subjects lang lahat yung magta-try ng treatment conditions na meron tayo sa experiment natin. So, that's all. Thank you.